Hi, and welcome back to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Chris Gorski.
Today we're going to hear part 2 of an article that we started yesterday entitled More Than Just a Plumber, Mario Comes to Life. Today is February 20th. We're on page 51. So yesterday we started talking about a very, very important game in the history of the development of video games, and that is
Super Mario Brothers.
That's right. And if you have any experience with it whatsoever, you will know that, first of all, it's just really unique. They developed all kinds of characters and ways to interact with and play the game that contributed a lot to later video games. For me personally, I think the first thing that comes to me is when my son was young. This first came out back then, and 任天堂, Nintendo, was all the rage, and all boys, and sometimes girls, I guess as well, had one of those devices, and that was like his most precious possession. If he was ever really naughty, didn't do what he said or whatever it was, his worst punishment was, we are going to confiscate your Nintendo.
This strikes so close to home, meaning it's very meaningful to me, too, because there were times where I got into trouble and I had my video games taken away.
Yeah.
Very brief story here. One time, I got in real trouble with my father, and he told me I couldn't play my video games, but he had to go to work. But I was going to respect him and not play. I was going to, I wasn't a really bad kid. I just kind of screwed up. And so I wake up and I go downstairs, and Dad's at work. And all of the video games are in a pile in the middle of my house. And why is my dad so angry about this? Like, I was bad, but I wasn't that bad. Like, it was like he went crazy overnight. Like, he ripped all the video games and put them in a big pile. And I called my dad and I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, all of the video games and the TV are in a big pile on the floor. And he's like, I didn't do that. I slept through a robbery. That's right.
Oh, my gosh.
That's right. The person heard me.
Shocking twist to the story.
The robber apparently heard me rustling around upstairs. I had woke up. I was in high school. I had a day off from school. And I went downstairs. And apparently a thief was packing everything up to steal, heard me, grabbed what he could, and left.
You almost lost all your video games.
I almost lost my life.
Your life. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I was thinking of your dear video games.
Right.
What a shocking story.
Yes.
Were you okay after that? It didn't happen
It really
again.
weirded me out that someone was in there and, I heard noise. I thought it was my sister. I thought she skipped school because I had the day off. She did not. And my punishment was you can't play video games. I thought my dad was so angry that he went behind the TV, those big, heavy old TVs, ripped them out of the wall. But
getting ready to throw them out, maybe.
Or just like, you're not going to touch this. But it was weird because I mouthed off to my dad, but I wasn't really that in much trouble. So it was really weird, and I'm really thankful that
overreaction.
Yeah, thankfully that person wasn't violent. They were just a thief.
So that shows what was really valuable at the time.
That's right. Yeah. Video games were something you could sell very easily. Get them and sell them for $10, $15 each and get your money. Yep. So.
Which tells you what a deep need they filled. Because I know that, all of us, we want to be distracted, and that's why we're sort of attached to our devices now. But back then, we were just finding out something that was really fun and engaging.
Yeah. Even today, I would still rather play video games over watch a movie.
Yeah, because it's interactive.
Yeah, I love games.
That's fascinating. Okay, here's our article for today, part 2. More Than Just a Plumber, Mario Comes to Life. Although its opening was postponed by COVID-19, Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan officially welcomed guests in 2021. The theme park is based on the many Mario video games created by Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto. Visitors enter the area through a giant warp pipe, one of the classic elements from the Mario games, which leads directly into Princess Peach's castle. Upon exiting, the guests find themselves on the second floor with the Mushroom Kingdom spread out before them. Across the way stands Bowser's castle.
Throughout the area, costume character meet and greets allow visitors to interact with their favorite characters at certain spots. Princess Peach can be found near her castle, while Mario and Luigi greet visitors near the entrance to Yoshi's Adventure, one of the many attractions in the park. This family-friendly ride offers a sightseeing tour aboard Yoshi-shaped vehicles with no stops along the way.
Another highlight is Mario Kart, Koopa's Challenge. Players step inside life-size carts like the ones from the Mario Kart series and put on an augmented reality AR headset. They can shoot Koopa shells at enemies by pressing buttons on the steering wheel. To aim, they simply turn their heads in the desired direction. Afterward, visitors can relax and continue enjoying the world of Mario by dining at Canopio's Cafe, a themed restaurant that brings the Mushroom Kingdom to life through fun decor and creative dishes. Now, I have to be honest, this is the part that really got my interest because I think it's getting close to lunchtime. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Same title because it's part 2 of the article we started yesterday. More than just a plumber, Mario comes to life. Although its opening was postponed by COVID-19, Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan officially welcomed guests in 2021.
So if you know me, you know I am a major Super Mario fan. I am really a deep, dyed-in-the-wool Mario fan. I am true blue. And one thing I will say is that I've never been to Super Nintendo World. I just have not had a chance. My mom's kind of older and sick. I don't have free time to go spare vacation to Japan. I need to go see my mom, but I'm really excited to go. Another thing I really like about Nintendo is that because the way their organization is structured, they don't need to show an immediate profit every single quarter the way many American companies have to.
Now, that's what we're doing with our app. It has been under development for like 20 years. It's going to finally come out. But I know that feeling because you want to do it right.
That's right. And there's this famous misattributed quote to Shigeru Miyamoto. And he says, supposedly, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad.
That's really true.
That's really true.
Yes.
You can fix things down the road, but usually you miss your opportunity. And Nintendo is famous for saying, listen, we're sorry. We need 6 more months. And then 6 more months, they say, hey, listen, I'm sorry. We need 3 more months. Nintendo has such a good track record that people accept this, where other companies don't have that freedom. And Nintendo will delay until they have this polished gem of a game that you'll never forget.
That's such a good point because we also have this notion of MVP, which is a minimum viable product.
Sure.
So people like Peter Thiel were promoting that. Just get something out. Don't delay because it's going to take forever. Just get something out, get feedback, and then improve it as you go along. I'm not that type. I want it to be good because otherwise you're going to taint everybody's impression of the product from all the things wrong with it in that minimum viable product. So I personally agree a lot with this point of view. So get it right, take your time, and actually people will accept it like you say. Well, there's another example is a podcaster. He was trying hard to be regular, putting out a podcast every week or something like that. So eventually he started cutting corners because he didn't always have something wonderful ready every single week. And he asked his audience, what do you prefer? Do you want me to be regular and come out every week, or do you want it to come out and be better prepared? And they said the latter.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Give me the polished gem over the regular release every single time.
Okay, our next sentence. The theme park is based on the many Mario video games created by Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto. And to remind you again, we're going to use the forbidden Chinese here. It's Gongben Mao is his name, and I'm sure you'll recognize that.
That's right. He's the guy that invented Mario, Donkey Kong, Pikmin, and probably most famously Pikmin. Pikmin, which is something that's a more recent release.
I didn't know that.
That's right. And
okay.
So it's not Pac-Man, that's Namco.
Okay.
But most importantly, probably for most gamers, The Legend of Zelda. Yes, Mario's the famous name, but The Legend of Zelda, that's the one where everybody pays attention.
Can you just summarize that game quickly? What happened?
Sure. The Legend of Zelda, you are Link, this hero, and he is the physical representation of this magical thing called the Triforce. He's one part of it. There are 2 other parts. And whoever gets all 3 parts is going to rule everything. So Link is often trying to save Zelda, who is another piece of this Triforce.
Save Zelda from where?
Save Zelda from the bad guy named Ganondorf or Ganon, who is another piece of the Triforce. Now, this is across many, many, many games, and they're reincarnated versions. They have the same names, but they're not the same people. They're reborn into different lives, and they're always in this continual cycle of struggle. Who's going to get the Triforce? Probably the safest thing you could do is just keep it apart.
This is so interesting and also inspiring because of my experience with developing an app, because I know exactly what you're talking about. It has to go along until you realize what's going on, and the later developments will affect the earlier ones, so you have to go back and revise those.
Yes, though these are phenomenal. The very best Zelda games are some of the best games you'll ever play. Let's continue.
Visitors enter the area through a giant warp pipe, one of the classic elements from the Mario games, which leads directly into Princess Peach's castle. Now, when we started this lesson yesterday, I was discussing with Chris some of the elements of the game, and I said one that really struck me was the warp pipes, because they take you sort of like wormholes from one place to another sort of unrelated place far away, and you get there really quickly. And that appeals to me because I've got this idea of wormholes in a city. So if you go into two examples from my life, a restaurant, it's run by Japanese, it's small, and the menu is all in Japanese. The people who go to eat there are almost all Japanese. I felt like I had gone through a wormhole to Tokyo.
That's interesting.
That was one. Another one was when I went to get my hair done at a Vietnamese hair salon. So the hairdresser was Vietnamese. He played Vietnamese music. He had Vietnamese customers coming in. I was sort of I had gone through a wormhole to Hanoi.
If you don't know what a wormhole is, think of Doraemon's magic door. It's a very fast path to a different faraway place.
Really fast, yeah. And this is sort of what a warp pipes made me think of.
That's interesting that you focus so much on the warp pipes, Ed, because I'm so immersed in this world that sometimes I lose sight of what maybe a more casual observer focuses on. And that's true. That is one of those really kind of essential elements of the Mario universe, is that warp pipe. And you really kind of bring that to focus. I bet you a lot of casual observers of Mario totally agree with you.
Yeah, and you take it for granted just because you know the game so well.
It's just there. It's like the walls.
But they were red, right?
They were green, but
green.
There are red and yellow and blue, and they're colorful. But traditionally, the classic Mario warp pipe is green.
Green.
That's
okay.
Right.
So you go in there, and then suddenly you're somewhere else.
That's right.
And you have to deal with a totally new situation.
That's right.
That really captured my imagination. Okay, the next sentence. Upon exiting, the guests find themselves on the second floor with the Mushroom Kingdom spread out before them. Across the way stands Bowser's castle.
So if you walk in there, the Mushroom Kingdom that you are viewing is from the new Super Mario Brothers series, specifically Mario 3D World and new Super Mario Brothers Wii. That's the version of the Mushroom Kingdom you're seeing. But the Princess Peach's castle that you'll walk into is from the 1996 classic Super Mario 64. And it's really cool to see that brought to life. As a kid, I loved the Super Mario franchise. But I'm going to be honest, the stuff that the merchandise and the things that were created that you could buy were kind of poor quality. They weren't that great. Today, now that Mario is kind of this international phenomena of just people just in love with the series, now there's real money being pushed into creating this series and making it real, just beyond video game, into the real world with movies and great toys and theme parks. It's unbelievable to see this franchise to have bloomed to this just unbelievable peak compared to what it was in the 1980s and 1990s.
I am just amazed at your very wide and specific knowledge of this whole enterprise.
You know, Karen, actually, we often talk about like the problem with AI and that it can be flawed. And I wonder how many people have enough specific knowledge to test AI to see its veracity. And I've actually tested AI using my knowledge of Nintendo and things. And I'll go back, I'll see a mistake and I'll go back and make sure I'm not wrong. These AIs really do make a lot of mistakes. It's like, I know that's not true. I know that's not true. And I will test AI with my knowledge of like Nintendo and Mario. That's a little embarrassing, but here I am.
Yeah. I do the same thing in my own specialty, my own special field. I have developed a lot of insights and rules about how things work in English pronunciation and intonation. Most other people don't have this stuff, so I will test AI on it. AI knows almost none of it.
Wow.
None of it. So at least I think that, well, I have still got my advantage. I still have something I can work with because it's not out there yet.
I'll say AI does a pretty good job with Nintendo stuff. Your field is a little bit more rarefied.
Specialized.
That's right, than general Nintendo knowledge. Let's go to our next paragraph here. Throughout the area, costume character meet and greets allow visitors to interact with their favorite characters at certain spots.
And those are exciting because someone can be so obsessed with this game, playing it all the time, knowing all of this obscure knowledge of the game. But when you see these costumed characters, you feel like it has turned into real life.
Thank you for saying that, because I have met these Nintendo characters at meet and greets that have taken place across Taiwan. And I wear my Mario hat and I wear my Mario jacket. I wear my tie. I get all dressed up for it. And I stand in line, and some people think it's silly, and I love it. I love having the pictures, and I love doing these things. And I don't know why I'm excited to stand next to a costume version of Mario, but you know what? I will do it every single time.
It's kind of transcendent. It takes you off into another world, which is something really exciting.
I get to embrace my silly part of my life, and I have no problem with that. I thank you for making me feel good about that.
No sense of embarrassment at all.
Princess Peach can be found near her castle, while Mario and Luigi greet visitors near the entrance to Yoshi's Adventure, one of the many attractions in the park. So an attraction just means something. In Chinese, you would say you play it. Really, this is a ride. You'll sit on it, and it's a little train that takes you around. An attraction, just think of it as a ride at an amusement park. This family-friendly ride offers a sightseeing tour aboard Yoshi-shaped vehicles with no stops along the way.
That sounds kind of fun.
It's a train. It's a train shaped like a Yoshi, and you ride them just like Mario does in his games, and you get these really interesting opportunities to take photos.
Okay, our last paragraph. Another highlight is Mario Kart, Koopa's Challenge. Players step inside life-size carts, like the ones from the Mario Kart series, and put on an augmented reality AR headset.
As I said earlier, Koopa is just Bowser. He's the big boss. He's the big bad guy. And Mario Kart is incredibly successful. If you know anything about Mario, you know what this is.
They can shoot Koopa shells at enemies by pressing buttons on the steering wheel.
So it's not enough. Kids today aren't happy enough just to ride a roller coaster the way you or I might. Modern amusement park attractions often now have some kind of video game aspect built into them in order to make them a little bit more exciting to modern generations. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. Augmented reality somehow never appealed to me.
I've ridden them, and I'll say it's cool, but I think the traditional rides are still awesome. But I want to go on this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, find out what it's like. To aim, they simply turn their heads in the desired direction.
Okay, so that means you're just going to kind of turn your head, and you have this little virtual kind of gun that you're aiming at things, and you're shooting at them to get a high score.
Afterward, visitors can relax and continue enjoying the world of Mario by dining at Kinopio's Cafe, a themed restaurant that brings the Mushroom Kingdom to life through fun decor and creative dishes. Now, I hesitated a bit because of Kinopio, which sounds a lot like Pinocchio. The first time I said Kinopio, and as soon as I said it, I thought that sounds awful. And then Chris corrected me, Kinopio.
Sure, Kinopio is just the little mushroom guy. If you don't know his name, yesterday, day one, we called him Toad. That's his English name. Toad and Kinopio are the same. One thing I really like about these two articles, they're not especially difficult. They're not especially hard to digest, but they're official names and official, correct, accurate descriptions of characters that you probably know and can discuss with many people. But learning them in a foreign language is often challenging. I know for a fact that these character names have evolved and changed in Chinese, but this is all standard information. And if you like Mario, then this is a great article to go through, dive in, and learn some specific, unique vocabulary that you can discuss with anybody from the ages of 45 and under, because they're going to know what this is.
Chris and I had a very different reaction to the piece. Although I played Super Mario Brothers a long time ago a little bit, I never really got obsessed with it, that into it, so I just don't know. I know just a teeny tiny dot of what Chris knows. So Chris was saying, oh, this article is just really easy. What else is there to say? I go, it's totally different for me. The cognitive burden for me is much greater because I have to keep track of all these characters
who
I am not familiar with. So it really depends on what kind of a background you're coming from. Okay, we're going to go to the questions now. Number 1, according to the day 1 passage, which of the following character trait pairings is correct? And the answer is
C, Wario. He likes food with a strong smell,
namely garlic.
And he is fond of earning wealth. He specifically says, greed is good. I'm gonna win.
Oh, that makes me feel sad, though, because the way the world is going now, it's all due to greed.
He's good-natured, though. I'll say he's bad, but he's a nice bad guy.
Greed is what got us where we are. Okay, number 2.
Why is Bowser often a threat to Mario?
The answer is letter D. He aims to rule the Mushroom Kingdom by capturing Princess Peach. Number 3.
According to the Day 2 passage, which of the following is true about Super Nintendo World?
And the answer is A. Guests enter the park via a feature inspired by the games. And our last question, number 4. What does the author mean by life-sized in the last paragraph?
And the answer is letter B, having the same size as the objects they represent.
And sometimes I think that's exciting because when you're playing the game, it's all in an imaginary space. You lose kind of all connection to reality and all sense of proportion. But when it's standing right in front of you in life size, that can be pretty jolting, I bet.
If you're a Nintendo fan, pay attention. The good old days are right now. That's right. This is the golden age, everybody. Enjoy it. We did not have this for a long time. We might not have it in the future, but boy, oh boy, it's so good right now.
This is your chance. That's all we have time for today. Tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.